right, but anyway, so the Bad Batch. Like I said, I wasn't really interested in this. I didn't watch any of the trailers, nothing, which is kind of good because I went into this unspoiled, other than the fact that I knew Fennec Shand would show up. And if you guys haven't seen this, like I said, come back, check back later. When I talk about something else, I think I'm talking about the High Republic after this. But this first episode was dope. It's 70 minutes long, so it's a little over an hour. It connects, it connects to the Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels. It starts with Depa Billaba because I was like, oh, like where were they during Order 66? They obviously survive. Depa Billaba's pinned down with her clone troopers. Caleb Doom, who changes his name later to Kanan Jarrus, is off to get reinforcements. And who does he come back with? Clone Squad 99, right? The Bad Batch. They come to the rescue and as soon as they clear out the droids and the little hover tanks or whatever they're called, Depa Billaba's head clone trooper in command, officer in charge, the time has come. Execute Order 66. Right, so Order 66 goes into effect. Depa Billaba's, trying to fight off her clone troopers. Caleb comes rushing in, and she's, no, Caleb, run, right? And it's a blood curdling scream, like, please save yourself, get out of here. And we knew that story from or at least I did, from the little the last Padawan comic book series, but it didn't show anything about the Bad Batch in it. I almost want to go back and look, but stuff gets retconned. I don't really consider it a retcon. I'm just like, they're adding on to the story, right? This is from a certain point. This story is being told from a certain point of view. It's Caleb's Doom's memories while Kanan is in a Bacta tank. So maybe in his memories, he forgot all about the Bad Batch. It's like, he didn't know that they were the Bad Batch. They're just, these are different clone troopers, right? The Rambo looking dude, what's his name? Hunter, right? I say he looks like, he reminds me of Rambo. He probably was inspired by Rambo. He basically saves Kanan. The sharpshooter guy, who's, what's his name? I don't know their names. I just know Hunter and Echo. Echo's the dude next to the sharpshooter guy. Because Echo was not initially one of the Bad Batch. He got all cybernetic enhancements, and he's like more machine than man at this point, as the IQ guy, the smart guy, described him. He was the one that survived getting blown up in that episode that I mentioned with Tarkin and Anakin and Obi-Wan, where they're trying to break somebody out of man, it's been so long since I want to say Stygian Prime, but I don't know if that's the name of the planet. I just pulled that name out of the ether, right? But the sharpshooter dude, his inhibitor chip worked. The other guys, their inhibitor chips do not work because of their genetic defects, to enhance them. Hunter basically has Jedi senses. Is his name right? They're basically the A-team, right? The dude who's B.A. Baracus, Mr. T, the big dude that looks like he, looked like when they gave him the growth accelerator, they pumped that junk full of super soldier serum, steroids. Oh, that's what I left out of my plan. Is I meant to talk about the Winter Soldier and the Falcon. Well, I mean, I can always make another episode later. So that's the thing about this, is like, oh, I forgot about well, I'll do it later, right? So y'all have to check back for that. For the Facebook people, yes, I finally have seen the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I binged all of it last week, one night, stayed up all night watching them, and I'm sorry I did that the next day. But anyway, so look like, so all of their, what makes them enhanced, made them not follow Order 66. Like, their inhibitor chips don't work, except for the sharpshooter dude, the sniper guy. His worked. And I kind of, like I said, if you haven't seen it, I'm gonna say some stuff. I'm gonna make some predictions, guesses. And I mean, I don't mean to sound like some of these other guys, but when I make predictions and stuff, take this with a grain of salt. Look, I try to make informed guesses, but at the end of the day, this is all commentary, man. I don't write the stories. I don't write the script. I don't have any inside sources at Lucasfilm. I don't claim to. I'm just giving commentary, sharing my thoughts with you guys, right? And I try to, when I say it, I try to come at it from an informed place. If I say this is what I would like to happen, I'll let you know this is strictly what I would like to happen. But just kind of to jump to the end of the episode, the sharpshooter guy, like I said, his inhibitor chip worked. So guess what happens? He ends up ratting out these other guys because they go back. Tarkin is there on Camino, right? Because we know that eventually they got rid of the clone program. They stopped making more clones. Tarkin wants to conscript humans into, it's cheaper. And I'm wondering, like, they're like, Tarkin doesn't like clones. Tarkin doesn't like clones. Tarkin doesn't like clones. Tarkin doesn't like Jedi. What the hell does Tarkin like? Well, I know what Tarkin likes. I made a video about what Tarkin likes, and some people didn't like it, but I'm just gonna say Tarkin had a certain clone stormtrooper who he thought was a very beautiful man, and I know they didn't say any names any specific names, but whoever this person was, their log into the HoloNet aboard the Death Star was DS1, right? Meaning number one on the Death Star. And all I'm saying is, who is in charge of the Death Star? Tarkin, right? Will huff Tarkin. He will huff and puff and blow a stormtrooper down. And that wasn't Samantha Aline under what's her name? Samantha Alien. I feel bad. I don't know how to say her last name, and I just told her she's my favorite stormtrooper on Twitter. She's the first. I think she played a First Order stormtrooper. She's been in every Star Wars movie, as an extra or somebody. She was a named character in The Rise of Skywalker, so it's like, oh, well, in the sequel saga, she was a stormtrooper and she was a Resistance pilot. So it is what it is. Hey, man, she's pulling double duty. I hope she gets double paychecks for playing both sides, right? Well, she got more screen time, so, it's more. I think, like, the more hours you work on the set, like, the more money you can get paid. So yeah, I hope that worked out for Samantha. She's a mainstay with Star Wars now. She's been in everything. Wonder if she's been in The Mandalorian. I have to ask her. Anyway, so Tarkin doesn't like clones, I guess, because clones ain't with it. They ain't with them Tarkin games. Them clones don't go both ways. The Tarkin don't like clones, right? So he's there to end the clone program, right? And then he finds out, because the sharpshooter dude snitched out your boy Rambo. I'm gonna make up names for him, right? Rambo, Lobot, Killer Lobot, B.A. Baracus, Mr. T, and well, I guess, would he be Hannibal? Well, he's Rambo, right? He looks like Rambo. Which one would he be? Who's the smart one in the A-Team? I don't remember. I watched the A-Team when I was little. All I knew was Mr. T, B.A. Baracus, right? Smart guy. That's what I'm gonna call a dude. Maybe one day I'll learn their right names. I know somebody that's gonna watch this and they, oh well, Prince, what their names are really. And I'm like, man, it ain't even that crucial. What I'm gonna say is not gonna be any different if I knew their names. All right, so I was kind of already seeing this though, right? Is that, you know, sharpshooter dude, he snitched out Rambo to Tarkin in his report. He was like, you know, because Rambo was like, you know, like sharpshooter dude was really trying to kill. He was literally trying to execute Order 66. And we know obviously he doesn't succeed because Caleb Doom grows up to be Kanan Jarrus, right? Trains Ezra Bridger, makes some sweet love to Hera, right? And now they got a kid named Jason Syndulla, right? So we knew he wasn't going to succeed, but it's like, well, how does Caleb get away, right, and become Kanan Jarrus? Kanan jumps, like literally makes a leap of faith and jumps across a chasm. And well, if you guys have seen this, you know what happened. So, you know, like Rambo is like, oh, I hit him with a stun and he fell to his death. And the sharpshooter dude is like, I don't think if you'd have killed him, you wouldn't have been looking across the chasm. You would have been looking down, right? And then he like takes his little sharpshooter thing and whatever and searching, and he comes back. He puts in his report, yo man, Rambo Hunter let him get away. So Tarkin reads that report and he's like, oh, so that's what's up. So he sends them off to Onderon to deal with some separatists there. They get to Onderon. And what do we know about Onderon? The Onderon Civil War Rebellion or whatever. Saw Gerrera's sister, Anakin and Ahsoka, Obi-Wan went there, trained them to overthrow the separatists who were there, right? And I think the king too, right? And they become part of you know, part of the Republic forces there on Onderon, right? But when the Empire comes into play, oh well, we didn't get rid of the separatists, and we didn't get rid of this corrupt king just to have an emperor now. Like we ain't riding with that. We ain't riding with Palpatine's game plan. So the Bad Batch gets sent there to execute them, and they're like, oh well, where are the separatists? Where are the droids? These are like women and children. We ain't with that. And you know, old sharpshooter guys like, yo man, I don't think Hunter Rambo, I don't think he's fit to lead, right? You disobeying orders. Good soldiers follow orders, right? And then on top of that, Tarkin's got these little not spy droids, but what do they call them? He's got droids there that are, you know, tracking them. So he's collecting intel because he's like, this is a test, right? They're either gonna go there and die trying to take out the Onderon separatists, or they get rid of them. And then I know, and before that, I think he tried to have them killed for that, right? He wanted to see them in a training scenario, and they, you know, they obviously succeed because they're the Bad Batch. You know, they're a bunch of literally super soldiers among the clone troopers. And it's like, oh well, now we want live fire, right? So now they got droids that are shooting to kill, and these guys are playing with, you know, practice blasters. So it's like, well, the guys shooting at us can kill us, but what we got ain't gonna hurt them, right? So they get through that, and that's when Tarkin sends them to Onderon. And then it's like, well, they get back and get thrown. They get thrown in the brig, but since Camino is not a military facility, you know, obviously it's not meant to hold them. They get out, they escape. But what's interesting about this episode is my big head is covering this girl up, right? Is that when you first get introduced to her, what is her name? Omega. And the Kaminoans present her as like, oh, well, I mean, she's obviously a child, and they say she's like a medical staff, a medical officer or something. So I'm like, is she supposed to be some kind of genius or something? Why is she there? And she's the only human there. And then, well, we got Dr. what's his name? Dr. Beata, Chabiata. I'm thinking Chibata. Dr. Chibata. Chibata, that's bread, right? From the Mandalorian, right? He's got the Camino insignia. I'm thinking later, right, is they probably did have humans that were working there, you know. Yeah, it'd still be late. Yeah, because that's after the rebellion and everything. So yeah, maybe Palpatine had, you know, Camino's now working on cloning Force sensitives, but I think there's going to be a direct tie-in to this show. I've like already jumped to my speculations. This show and The Mandalorian and The Rise of Skywalker, because